The San Diego Padres were one of the busiest teams in free agency this offseason. They started by extending their star pitcher Joe Musgrove to a 5-year, $100 million contract, followed by another extension to another key piece in their starting rotation with Yu Darvish. Yu would land a 6-year, $108 million extension, signing him through his age 42 season. When rumors of Manny Machado wanting to opt out of his contract at the end of the season to go hit free agency again and test the markets, the Padres front office said, "Screw that, you're not leaving us." They came in and extended him for 11 years for $350 million. They didn't just stop there. They go out and sign free agent shortstop Xander Bogaerts to an 11-year deal worth $280 million. Xander being one of the best shortstops in Major League Baseball with the Boston Red Sox for most of his career. So there was no surprise there that he would get signed to a massive contract. But what was the big surprise was the team that signed him. The Padres essentially spent nearly $1 billion this offseason upgrading their team. The Padres sent out a message to every team without having to say it. We're here to compete in the NL for the World Series, with teams like the Cardinals, with teams like the Braves, with teams like the Dodgers. Speaking of which, the Atlanta Braves. It wasn't but 2 years ago that the Atlanta Braves won their first title since the 90s, back in 2021 beating the Houston Astros in 6 games to take home that coveted World Series title. Braves have been building up their team for the past few years, handing out unheard of extensions early into players' careers. The Braves had themselves a nice little offseason, acquiring one of the best catchers in Major League Baseball in Sean Murphy from the Oakland Athletics, and then signed him to an extension as well. Between the Braves and the Padres, these two lineups are absolute juggernauts. And anytime we get to see them play against each other, you know there's going to be fireworks. And oh, would you look at that, we get our wish. The Padres versus the Atlanta Braves for a 4-game series this weekend starting Thursday. Now coming into the series, the Braves are one of the hottest teams in the league, starting out their season 5-2 with the full sweep of the St. Louis Cardinals, another team who they could see in the playoffs. Now on the other end, the San Diego Padres were a little bit of a different story. They came into the series kind of stumbling, starting this 3-3 on the season. The starting lineup being cold outside of Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado, the starting pitching being meh, and the bullpen being atrocious, honestly, outside of Josh Hader. The first 2 games of the series were actually legitimately close. Anyone would see the Braves jump out to a 2-0 lead, but San Diego quickly responding with a 3-1 blast. And in the bottom of the 4th, the Atlanta Braves would respond yet again with 2 of their own, followed by the Padres getting 1 in the 6th, adding 2 in the 8th. But in the bottom of the 8th, the Braves would tack on 2, and the bottom of the 9th, the Braves would walk it off on the Padres. In game 2, the tables were a little bit flipped. The Padres would jump out to a 3-0 lead, scoring 2 in the 1st and 1 in the 2nd. But then the Braves would go on to score 3 in the bottom of the 3rd to tie it up at 3-all. Both teams would score in the 5th, but it was in the 6th inning where the San Diego Padres finally scored the final run of the game, giving them a 5-4 lead, and they would finish out the game at that. Games 3 and 4 is where we would finally see the Padres pitching start to prevail on some of these Atlanta Braves hitters in the lineup. They go on to win over the Atlanta Braves 4-1 in game 3. But it was in the last game of the series where the Padres would really put a stamp on this series and matchup. The Padres lineup would show everybody what they're made of without Fernando Tatis Jr. They go on to score 10 runs on the Atlanta Braves, winning the game comfortably. For some people before the season started, this was the NLCS matchup for the 2023 season. Atlanta Braves versus the San Diego Padres with the right to go to the World Series. But I think after this weekend series against these two teams, a lot more people are going to start picking this as the NLCS matchup for the 2023 season. I think there's 2 things that make the Padres extremely scary right now. One, they're missing 2 of their best players. They're missing one of the best right-handed at-bats in the league in Fernando Tatis Jr., and then they're missing one of their 2 best starters in Joe Musgrove right now with a broken toe. So this Padres team is not even at full health yet, but when they do get at full health, this team may just be a buzzsaw and no team may be able to stop them this season. The other thing that makes this team so scary is the fact that they're not afraid to make risky plays. Whether that be defending at the plate, pitching, in the bullpen. I know usually whenever we talk about teams making risky plays, you have a chance to get burned by those. That the good teams will always make you play if you make mistakes against them. But the thing for the Padres is they're so talented at their top 4 with Bogaerts, Machado, Tatis, and Juan Soto that they can afford to make those type of mistakes and still come back on you. That's not even mentioning the fact that they still got guys like Jake Cronenworth and Kim Hyun-sung, I hope I said that right, that are coming into their own right now as baseball players and at the plate. I think the Padres are putting the world on notice right now. They are here, they are legit, and they are terrifying. But let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below. Do y'all believe in the Padres? Do you not believe in them? And if you haven't already, go and like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because I have plenty more baseball content like this, and I'll see you all in the next one. Adios, mis amigos.